Well, it's such a fabulous film, and I hear you have some special guests in the audience.
Lots. I have the incomparable Rose Hartman in the audience.
A chair? Okay. Can we
While
get
we're
a
waiting
chair?
on a chair, we have another very special guest in the audience tonight, and it is my father, who flew up here from Jacksonville with my mother. But this was a hard journey for him, so I really appreciate it, Dad.
So, how did you two meet? What was the impetus for the film? And let's start there.
Well, I was invited to give a PowerPoint presentation at Chiat Day, an agency on Madison Avenue, and Otis and Sally, who unfortunately cannot be with us tonight, had attended, and I started chatting with Sally. I didn't know her, but she owns the artist company. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you just. Yeah, just talking.
Thank you. At any rate, Sally came up to me, and I was signing books, and everyone was dancing and having a wonderful evening. And she said, well, let's have lunch, which obviously I love to do. And so we went out, and we were speaking for about an hour or so, and she said, well, would you be interested in having a film made about your life? And I said, well, why not?
That's the first time I've heard that story, but okay.
You see, there's always
we
a surprise.
we can go with that.
He may give another version.
Well, I was invited to a PowerPoint presentation at Chiat Day, was fascinated by the photo array that was put out before me because I knew every single image, and it wasn't Bianca that got me. I mean, because it's a famous photo, but no, I think it was Andy Warhol with Jerry Hall that really got my attention. And to know that all of these images from 40 years, I mean, you know, high fashion to portraiture at Studio 54, well, I was very intrigued. And yes, she went to lunch with Sally, the executive producer of the film, and then she and I went to lunch.
At Morandi. So
And it was that lunch that let me know I had something special going on with this one.
For sure. Should we open up I'm sure there's a lot of questions. Who's first? Yes.
Hey Otis, how did you film Rose swimming in the pool?
Oh, that's fabulous.
I can hold my breath for 3 minutes. I can hold my breath for 3 minutes. Yes, I was underwater.
Yeah, and Rose, do you swim every day? Or?
I try to. I swim at a local club, Equinox, and I have to say I'm really grateful that the club exists 5 blocks from my home in the West Village. And I would recommend to each and every one of you to go swimming, because I think that no matter what's going on in your life, that is an area of such calm and satisfaction.
Yeah. Did you swim a lot this week? With the election?
No, because I was expecting certain people to come and visit me, and I wanted my apartment to look perfect, so I didn't swim. And the election, I don't want to get into that.
There's a question back here.
Are you asking that of me? Well, I started out with an Olympus system, and it was not automatic. So when I would be at a club like Studio or Area or wherever, it was very, very dark and difficult to actually see my subjects. And then I moved to the Canon, which of course is automatic. And now I have a Lumex, which is very small, compact, and very satisfying to me.
And Otis, you also started in fashion, right?
Yeah, well-
that way. And then you moved to commercials and talk about your.
Yeah, well, this is my debut first film ever, so. It's also, you know, first time in a long time I've been proud of my work, so thank you all. Yeah, I've been shooting commercial spots for like, well, I was in music videos and then commercials, and you know, started off in that kind of beauty world, Neutrogena. I shouldn't say names, I just the personalities. I saw a little of me on camera. I tend to be a nice guy, until pushed. But yeah, I then kind of realized I had a grasp for talking to people and, you know, getting into their heads and getting great answers to my questions. And so I just started going in a documentary style, but still had that fashion sensibility, which hopefully that's what I wanted people to walk away with visually from this film, is that you know, it's not a shaky handy, you know, floating head, boring. It's colorful, and things can be pretty. It doesn't matter what you're shooting. I mean, you know, I'm shooting a beautiful woman right there, and I think I made you look pretty. What do you think, Rose?
I'm a very, very strong self-critic, so I'd rather hear from the audience as to what they think about Otis's film.
Well, and Rose, you are a documentarian, but with still photography.
Yes,
Can you talk-
only.
And when did you start? Did you start as a kid? Your father
No.
was a photographer? And
My father, no, he was not a photographer. He loved to take
loved to take
photos,
photos.
which is a little bit different from being a photographer. Sorry, my father loved to take photos, and I do have the memory of my father having a camera around his neck. And as you saw in the film, I was very attached to my father. So I must have imbibed that feeling of, well, maybe I'd like to do that. But no, I had studied painting. I took different drawing classes, always something in that realm. But photography was definitely when I was an adult, because I was very dissatisfied with teaching, because I taught high school on the Lower East Side, and it was very difficult. I was very young and
With my
traumatic.
New York University professor, we just found out, who's in the audience. Arnie, wave. Arnold Baskin, ladies and gentlemen. My mentor from NYU.
Did you have a question, or did you have a question?
No, that's Arnie.
Oh, Arnie, hi. Other questions here.
Hi.
I just wanted to say that there was a specific moment where it was very clear that Rose had mentioned so many things that she admired about her father, but it wasn't really mentioned a lot about what she admired about her mother. But it seems like so much about you as a person and your work was really an homage to what was important to your mother, which was control, style, attention to detail. So I just wanted to hear kind of what both of you might say about that, because that wasn't just plainly put out there. So kind of
But apparently you got it.
Do you want to say something?
I feel, yeah. I mean, we're all a mixture of our parents, but you know, I'm sure you learned how to crack the whip from your mom. No?
Well, I remember I went to a girls' school, Hunter High, and I was very fortunate to go there. with my mother's inspiration and my mother taking me to take the exam because I was living far, far away from 68th Street and Lexington Avenue. So my mother, I would say, was responsible for my great love of education. For example, I can't imagine visiting somebody and not seeing books. And believe me, I visited people who could certainly afford to have 10 million books and had no books. But at any rate, I do thank my mother for that. Unfortunately, my mother did get Alzheimer's, and it wasn't quite the way Bettina Cerrone commented, but that's another story. Unfortunately, my mother no longer recognized me, and it was very, very, very upsetting.
I just wanted to comment on the fact that I know Otis better than I know Rose, but I also think that what you did with the documentary was what Rose did with her pictures, is the unpreparedness and the spontaneity, just that aliveliness. That you could watch this movie 10 times and see another thing, and I just wanted to, commend you on that because I thought being unprepared and spontaneous.
Thank you. Thank you.